Corporate well-being, our well-being, and hence our performance in the workplace has a direct link to relationships. The quality of the relationships that we form within our workplace environment contributes to our state of well-being. And if we enter this virtuous cycle, we can also see offshoots of that experience. That when we are also in a workplace environment that has constant change, growth, and innovation, the quality of those relationships will also show up in how we show up in moments of disagreement and conflict. Because we can't have innovation when everyone's agreeing on things, when no new ideas are being presented forward. I mean, the problem isn't that we have disagreements and conflict. It's generally what the problem is how we're showing up as individuals in disagreements and conflict that rubs somebody else the wrong way. When we look at this from an emotional intelligence standpoint, we're talking about the skill of assertiveness, our ability to be able to voice our own beliefs and our opinions and our thoughts and our expertise that might be part of what creates the conflict or disagreement. It's defending our own personal rights and values, which could mean it's defending our opportunity to grab the microphone and speak or push back on someone else's ideas and thoughts. So when we want to develop that skill of assertiveness in our workplace environment, it isn't always going to be about practicing the skill of assertiveness, about talking. Sometimes it's about looking at the supporting players for assertiveness, which are empathy, interpersonal relationships, and emotional self-awareness. So if you want to develop your assertiveness skill set or your ability in the workplace to show up in conflict and disagreement in ways that are influential and impactful to positive outcomes, then this is where we start. We start at developing these pillars that support the skill of assertiveness. We start with being able to listen intently to other people sharing their thoughts and their ideas and getting those on the board. Making them visible for everyone to see who is sharing what ideas is irrelevant. Get the ideas on the board and give the space for people to openly share them. Whether I'm an extrovert and I grab the microphone first, or I'm an introvert and you have to invite me into the conversation. The next thing that we need that I mentioned at the top of this video is we need really strong interpersonal relationships. Ever notice that in relationships where you have trust and psychological safety, assertiveness is no big deal. That you can share your thoughts, they can share their thoughts, we can argue, we can disagree, and yet the strength of the relationship always will survive. It always navigates through the space of assertiveness. Why? Because assertiveness is non-offensive and it's non-destructive. However, when we have crumbling relationships, we're often not asserting at all. Instead, we're being aggressive, passive-aggressive, manipulative, coercive, silent. And finally, that final pillar to impact our assertiveness proficiency is emotional self-awareness. If you just pay attention to yourself for a couple of weeks, paying attention to when you're assertive, who you're assertive with, what it sounds like, how you go about being assertive, you're going to be able to recognize the differences between when you are and when you aren't. And those differences at the foundation will always have an emotional climate. There will be certain emotions that interfere with your ability to do assertiveness well.